Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're going to be taking a look at, well, the London system versus the Dutch defense. Now, both of these are kingside attacking games, so what happens whenever these two guys clash? Let's go and take a look. With that being said, in my opinion, I think the London system is beating the Dutch defense because, well, the Dutch defense is going to create some kingside weaknesses that, well, white can take advantage of. And there's multiple ways that you can take advantage of this. With that being said, I'm going to teach you a very aggressive way to attack this Dutch system. So here we go. We start with d4, e6. I like this move because, well, it doesn't let white know just yet about what they're going to be playing. In the future, I'll be going over the Dutch system, how to play it as black, and also some very fun ways for white to attack the Dutch. And this e6 move is definitely going to hurt white from a lot of the setups that you could choose. With that being said, let's just go and stick with our London system. Knight to f3, pawn to f5. It is now a Dutch defense. Bishop f4. Now we got our London system. Knight to f6, and here we see that, well, white and black are both going for those kind of kingside attacks. The difference is black has had to play f5 to get control of their square. Notice white's trying to go over the e5 square, and black is going over e4. Now, these are two very important squares if you're trying to attack your opponent. Here we go. Pawn to e3 got played. Bishop to e7. Here we got the old Dutch system line. Obviously, there's many different ways that you can try to play the Dutch. We've got the d5, which is the Stonewall Dutch. You can go ahead and play g6 and go to a Leningrad, and you even have like a Nimzo Indian kind of Dutch defense with pawn b6, bringing the bishop out to the long diagonal. With that being said, this is just the regular Dutch, so bishop to e7, and here we're just going to continue normally. Here I like this move quite a bit. It's pawn to h3. One of the weaknesses of f5 getting played so fast is that g4 can get played, and this is going to attack their structure right away. Notice that, well, you're more than welcome to try and attack us in the center, but, well, you don't know where our king is going to be going just yet. So here, this is a big pivot point for us to go ahead and open up the g file to attack the king. Here we go. Castles happens. Bishop to d3. White has plenty of good moves here to keep up with their development. Pawn to b6, and now we get that kind of Nimzo Indian kind of idea. As you can see, one of the big problems in the Dutch defense is where do you place this bishop? Because with the pawn structure like this, well, it's hurting this bishop. So it's very common for to try this idea. b6, bishop to b7, and then you see that this bishop's going to be looking good. The problem that you'll have here is that, well, now your pawn structure can't move up forward without blocking your own bishop. So this pawn structure, although it can be good, it's usually best whenever they castle kingside. That being said, white's going to have a nice surprise for them later on. Here we go. Knight b to d2. Bishop to b7. Queen to e2. And here, black goes and plays it. Knight to e4. Just trying to staple this knight right here. And as you know, taking here on e4 is not going to be good in any variation. Just like it is whenever we play in our London system, we want them to take after we play the knight to e5. We want exchanges to happen so that we can get our pawn forward. This opens up the file. Here, black would be all but happy. With that being said, what does white play here? White is definitely looking aggressive, and I highly recommend you try this against the Dutch defense. What do? We're going to go ahead and castle queenside here. As I said before, the idea is to try and play g4 and open up as fast as possible. In opposite side castling, whoever can open up your opponent's king is going to attack first. So in this case, black wants to push the pawns forward, and white wants to push over here. Notice how after just one move, we're already opening up the file. Rather with black, it's going to take quite a few moves before they're able to trade off over here. Okay, here we go. Black played d6. Rook h to g1, a good idea here. What we're trying to do is get the rook off this diagonal and also prepare pawn to g4. Here we go, knight to d7, g4, here we go. Knight takes on d2, and here rook takes on d2. The knight takes actually was not a bad idea by black here because, well, either way you're going to have to mess up your structure here. If you take with the queen, well, you just dropped a piece over here. And unfortunately, if you try to take with the knight, well, now you allow the idea of e5 to get played in the future. So here, I guess white did not want to allow this, although this can be played. They went ahead and just played rook takes on d2. Okay, here we go. Bishop to e4. Here, black is already feeling the pressure and starts making trades as soon as possible. What do? Open up the king as soon as possible. Here we go. G takes on f5. E takes on f5. You can notice here the weaknesses of the light square start, which is very, very common when it comes to playing against the Dutch defense. And here, white jumps on it as soon as possible. Bishop to c4 check. King over to h8. And knight to g5. Here, there's already big threats with knight to e6, knight to f7. Already here, white is at a +2 advantage, saying, well, we're up 2 extra pawns in this position. And here, well, black must go ahead and part with this dark square bishop. So now, after bishop takes, now we just have the bishop pair, and well, we're going to keep attacking this king. Oof, here we go. Queen went to e8, and let's slowly push him back. Pawn to f3, bishop back to b7, and queen to g2. Here already looking for targets at g7 here. g6 got played as well. There was a big threat here. Let's just say black was not paying attention and played something like pawn to c5 here. White to move. What do you play here to get a very good position? Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. A winning position. A very nice tactical possibility. All right, hopefully you push pause, try to take a look at it. Here you get the amazing bishop to f6 here. Notice that there's no good way now to defend on g7. You're either going to get checkmated or you're going to be losing heavy material. Notice that, of course, the knight cannot take here because queen takes on g7 is checkmate. And anything else really is going to be the same kind of story. Pawn takes, queen to g7 yet again. Okay, so in the game, g6 was played to stop this, but now you can see, well, the diagonals are weak, and guess who has the bishop pair? Here comes white again. We go with bishop h6, rook to f6, pawn to h4, a very good move here, looking to try and open up this h file or the g file over here. Pawn to d5 got played. That's okay. How did you know I wanted to place my bishop on a better diagonal? Bishop plays to d3, and now you can see that the bishop has cut themselves off by themselves. Queen to f7, queen to h3, rook over to g8, rook over to g2, pawn to c5. A nice try here by black, either threatening to go pawn c4 or maybe take on d4 here to try and open up the game. White just plays this as simple as possible, just like any kind of London player. What do? Simple chess. We just go ahead and play pawn to c3 here. So if we want to, we could take back with the c pawn or the e pawn. With that being said, I would definitely be looking about taking back with the e pawn here. Black played pawn to b5. He's just struggling for any kind of counterplay over here, so he's even willing to sacrifice a pawn. And by all means, you're more than welcome to take on b5 here. But in these kind of positions, remember, look to play your plan. Do not play theirs. So let's keep going for the kingside attack. Pawn to h5 gets played. Pawn to b4. H takes, rook takes. And here, well, just simple chess here. White to move and win some material. All right, hopefully you took a look at this. It kind of escaped me the first time, but you can actually be winning material here. Here you go ahead and play. Bishop takes on f5. Wait a second, can't they take on g2 and the queen hangs at the end? Not exactly. After rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, here we have the nice move of queen takes on g2. Uh-oh, you missed it. The queen cannot take on f5 as queen g7's checkmate in 1. So here you're just up the extra material. And well, on this kind of board, you have the bishop pair. The pieces are all lined up. Bad bishop. This knight is going to take a while to get to a good square. This is an easily +6 situation. Knight f8 got played. Queen over to g5 over here, defending the bishop, and possibly getting ready to play e4, and the queen has plenty of entry squares around here. You can definitely see that the dark squares are weak. B takes on c3, B takes on c3, C takes on d4, and C takes on d4. Best to keep your pawns all together here. And if you could trade down into an endgame, this should be very easy as far as trading off the queens. Knight went to g6, and here, well, I guess black just was done with the game or maybe just missed it, but now it is white to move and win. Simple chess. It's actually checkmate. We're going to go ahead and play. Queen over to d8, knight to f8, and well, queen takes on f8 is an easy win here. You don't have to do that. You can play bishop takes on f8, and this is still going to be leading to a very nice checkmate here. Notice that even if you try to take on f5 over here, it just doesn't do anything. Yeah, any way that you block is just going to be bad. If queen goes to g8, simple chess checkmate in 2, what do? Here, queen f6 check, queen has to block, and queen takes on g7 for check and mate. Guys, remember, whenever you're playing against this Dutch defense, think about this f5 pawn as a lever, and you can just go ahead and play g4 at some point to go ahead and open up the g file and attack them. Castling queenside is one way to play, but it is not the only way. We'll take a look about playing a positional game against the Dutch defense. At the highest level, this is why it doesn't get played too often, because there's just too many weak squares. Guys, hope you enjoyed this. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.